live stream. Got everybody coming in. We'll just start with a quick check-in and run down the list. Just give a quick introduction and say hello. You want to kick us off, NSA?
Okay. Welcome everyone for this session, How to Connect, presented by...
I was just thinking you give your own introduction, and then we'll just do a quick check-in with everybody, and then get started. And this is the How to Discord workshop. D1.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, totally fine.
Hey, over to you, Ernest.
Yeah, D1, how you doing today?
Hey, GM everyone. I'm doing fine. Fine.
Wonderful.
So how are you doing all too? Yeah.
How's Praise doing? I think Praise is doing good. Trinity, how you doing today?
Jim, everyone. I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Ernest?
Good. And King, how you doing today?
Yeah, Jim, everyone. I'm great. How's everyone doing?
Yeah. Katubu. How's Katubu doing? All right, and Lai, welcome Lai. Are you new to the DAO?
Yeah, so I'm lucky. Recently joined the DAO. My goal here is to learn a bit more about Discord because I'm a pretty aged person. Nevertheless, within the DAO, my goal is to educate 50 plus people about all the Bankless philosophy. I studied computer science, so I'm pretty technical. But despite that, Discord is still a miracle to me.
No, that's great. Happy to have you. And yeah, just to remind folks that we encourage, new people to attend these, but also people that are interested in, teaching this course in the future. It's always good to have people here at these workshops. Modu, how are you doing today? All right, so Modu is in transit and doing great. Hope you stay safe driving. And Royalty, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Nothing much, just chilling.
Nice, perfect. Salty Pickle, long time no see. How you doing?
A long time no see indeed. Thanks. Great to be here. Doing pretty great. Looking forward to, getting my hands dirty again.
All right. Hello, Vicky. How you doing today?
Yo, GM everyone. Yeah, I'm good and I'm excited because today's my birthday actually. So I'm just trying to do some things, to make myself happy.
Happy birthday!
Happy
Thank
birthday!
You.
Happy birthday, Vicky.
Thank you.
Birthday.
All right. Sorry, did anybody bring cupcakes to the office today for the birthday party? We got to figure out a way to do that in this new Discord world. Simply
I
Anna.
think Vicky wants to do
Yeah. Simply Anna, how you doing today?
Hi, GM everyone. It's nice to be here. Happy birthday, Vicky.
Hi. And Explorer, how are you doing today?
GM everyone, it's nice to be here. Happy birthday, Vicky, and I'm so glad to get my hands dirty again.
Awesome, nice to have you. Yofi, how you doing today?
Good. Yeah, there. Your side, how's everyone doing?
Awesome. And last but not least, Zara, how you doing today? Welcome.
Yeah, good day. I'm fine. I'm fine. Good.
Oh man, and you got a panda for a profile pic. I like that.
Yeah, that's my work. Yeah, that's my work.
Oh, nice. You work with, or is that a koala, or is it a snail?
Um, that's an illustration, and I work with Adobe illustration.
Oh, nice.
It's just a 2D illustration.
Sweet. Well, we love having artists in the DAO. And welcome everybody to how Bankless uses Discord. I will share my screen. And we'll get started. Um, so we created a Discord workshop last December. There's been lots of updates since December in Discord. So there's some good things to go over with the bots. Um, and yeah, I kind of feel like this is going to be a lot of information. So I might go through some of it quickly. There'll be periods where we'll just kind of check in. Um, this is like, I would call this like, mostly like a how Bankless uses Discord workshop specifically. And, one of these days I want to develop a like power user Discord kind of workshop. So this doesn't get into like managing your own Discord, but actually, a user of the Discord in Bankless. But happy to, answer folks' questions, as we go through the workshop as well. Essentially, right, like Discord is the first and main tool that we use. I'm gonna kind of, go into, I hope people walk away with kind of a clear understanding of how the Discord is organized, so it feels less disorienting. But we know, right? So like, media nodes, projects, guilds, now departments are all organizational units within the DAO, and the Discord's designed for nodes and projects and guilds and departments to like function within the Discord. And so media nodes is kind of a good example. We know Bankless LLC or Bankless HQ, right, is a media company. We call it a media node. And they promote the Bankless mission through memes and newsletters and podcasts. But it's its own operational media studio with revenue, expenses, employees, and they have a branding agreement with the DAO. They're a media node, an advanced media node. But we have over 30 different like international media nodes. Bankless Brazil, Bankless Africa, a couple of the other IMN nodes, and a couple projects have also created their own Discord in order to better manage the work streams particular to that group and to be able to manage their own operational tools in the Discord. Because Discord is, you know, organized based on permissions. So even though all the media nodes and projects share the same mission and have a home in the main DAO Discord, there are 6 to 8 other Discords where you might find work, or where other groups work, you know, based on their language or just based on, you know, the type of work that they do. The design of Discord is such, you know, the kind of like in the early days of the DAO, the principle was, you know, if there's, you know, 2 or 3 people that want to have a conversation about something, you create a channel for it and you have that conversation in public. So building in public has always been one of the design principles of the BanklessDAO Discord. So that's one of the reasons that we literally have like a channel for everything. And at the beginning of this year, threads were adopted. And essentially, I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit, but not only is the principle built in public, kind of what underpins the design of the Discord, but it also aligns. Whoa, I gotta mute. Sorry, Gabby. Gotta mute ya. Feel free to let us know in the chat once you've muted yourself, and I can unmute you. But there's another principle that we use, and you know, it's used throughout Web3. But essentially, the belief is that the smaller groups coordinate better and are more likely to get results. So, as much as possible, we want Discord to allow small squads to form and happen. So that's why there's so many channels for everything, because we're really trying to facilitate the formation of small groups, you know, to do things or to achieve things.
Ernest, a question, right?
Yep.
So what does it mean now? So as an example, right, I'm located in Germany, so I might look for a Bankless DAO Germany. Is it now really under a channel, or is it an extra Discord setup which I need to find? So where do I find it? Is every Bankless guild and node in the same Discord under a channel or not?
Basically, yes. And I'll get into a little bit more particulars of how it's organized here shortly. There used to be like, you know, and there still might even be, but yeah, let me just continue with the way that it's going and I'll get to that. Because that's a good question, but I want to give like an overview of how the categories are structured to help answer that question. And so we know with BanklessDAO Discord, right? Currently, it's open to anybody. All you have to do is like come into the Discord and start and complete first quests, and you can be a member of the Discord. We have some onboarding steps like the first quest. There's a verification channel to verify your wallet, and you can join the collab.land bot, and this allows the DAO to gate access to groups based on your Discord permissions. It's important to note that everything in Discord is managed through permissions. And so the other thing to recognize is that, you know, there's a structure from the top of the Discord all the way down to the bottom of the Discord. And so at the top of the Discord, you have most of your social channels. And then as you move down the Discord, you have more work channels. And of course, in Discord, the type of channels that you have are categories, which are groups of channels. You have the individual channels, you have audiovisual channels, and then you have threads within channels. But I just wanted to check, has everybody here been through First Quest?
Yes, but the topic is the verification with color land. I assume you need to have banks in your wallet, because this failed for me. I have Ether in the wallet, but not banks, so that thing didn't confirm me.
Yeah, so it should still confirm you so that you can get your guest pass. But when you have 35,000 or more bank in your wallet, your role in Discord will change to be a level 1 role. And you'll notice that some people have, you know, blue Discord names, like Salty Pickle. That means they have a guest pass. You can see D1 is now yellow. And so that means that they have, you know, recently gotten their level 1 status and gotten, you know, has that 35,000 bank sitting in their wallet. And then the orange is generally level 2s, and level 2s have Discord admin privileges that level 1s don't. That's the main difference between L1s and L2s, is that people who are recognized as L2s, you know, generally have some type of understanding of how the Discord works and can help new members, you know, with Discord, you know, at minimum. And so I just wanted to check again, is there anybody that hasn't done First Quest? Probably can't be in the water cooler if you haven't done First Quest. But I just want to check. And so once you have access to the Discord, you actually have access to all the governance and operations and work channels within the DAO. You actually don't need any bank in your wallet to begin contributing to the DAO, its governance and operations. We don't gate any of the governance stuff. The only content that we gate in our Discord are the social channels. So as you become a level 1 or a L2 or L3, you get additional social channels, not additional access to governance. However, even though we do most of our governance in Seshbot in the Discord, once proposals move beyond the project or, you know, beyond the guild, we start using Snapshot. And to vote in Snapshot, you need at least 1 bank token. But I do want everybody to know that the majority of voting and governance and decision making all happens within the Discord. All happens within the organizational unit within the Discord. And the DAO at large, as a big group, you know, we're actually more like an organization with a bunch of sub DAOs. So, there's really only seasonal changes that happen like DAO wide. Most of the stuff that's always going on is happening at the guild or project level in Discord. And then that, kind of drives the governance of the DAO at large. So folks should know, at the top of the Discord, most people's first category is like first quests, and then you have a welcome category, you have Bankless DAO invites, you have the community call category. So the top categories, are the ones that you want to be familiar with and understand first, and then they will take you to other parts of the Discord, that kind of makes sense. One of the changes that's happened in particular over the last year is that we've been more reliant on bots to do things. And so we do have a channel in the general category called bot commands. And so a lot of bots can be used in whatever channel you're in. But if you're ever trying to use a bot in a channel and it doesn't work, you can always go to the bot commands channel and interact with that bot. So if we go to the water cooler chat voice channel above the water cooler here, we can actually start playing with some of the bots. And, I used to think bots were like extra stuff to figure out, but there's actually some pretty cool bots in the Discord, and I really recommend folks to learn how to use some of the bots, especially once you become an L1 and L2. Some bots, again, are based on Discord permissions, so unless you have, L1 or L2 role, you may not be able to use some bots. But the first quest bot, everybody can use. And the way that you use a bot in a channel is, you start by typing the slash command. And if you type the slash command into the water cooler chat, you'll see that a whole list of all the bots that we have in the Discord pop up. And so usually if you know the like first word of the bot that you want to use, so we want to, use the first quest bot, you can type in slash first, and then it will start giving you options of things that you can do with the bot. And of course, we can see that if you type in slash first, you can get that option to start first quest. And the way most of the bots work is that they DM you once you, start engaging with them. So as soon as you, type first quest start, hit enter, the first quest bot DMs you and then starts giving you instructions about how to proceed through first quest. And the DAO has a first quest, but also each guild has their own kind of onboarding process. And while I don't think most guilds have developed their onboarding process to be integrated with a bot, it is something that, folks will probably move forward to as, guilds develop clarity in their onboarding process. So the first quest bot is pretty cool.
Sorry, Ernest, do you mind if I just ask something?
Yep.
So I'm not able to, for some reason, activate the bot on the verification page. You know, like when I write a first quest start, and then I just get in return the application is not responding.
What channel are you in?
I am on the first quest channel.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what that channel does. Okay, so if you're so anytime you have problems with a bot, you should first go to the bot commands channel and try what you're doing in the bot commands channel. It is possible that the first quest bot should work for everybody. Is there anybody? You'll notice the bot commands channel is just a couple channels above the water cooler. If you type in / first there, does it work?
Fortunately not. We shouldn't waste the time of the whole
No,
class.
it's
And then I can
okay.
figure it.
This is one of those things too where it's nice to know like how it actually works for other people. Because once you're
It's working for me.
Oh wow, it's not working for me. Though sometimes it seems like the board goes down, like kind of.
Yeah. All right.
Do you want me to share screen so that you can see better what happens?
Yeah, actually do that real quick if you can.
When I put mine, the first I could see is claim, then tip send, then coordinate form. I guess it's because that's what I've used frequently than others.
Yeah, by just typing in /.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens for salty pickle. Taking a moment to load the screen. And I'm going to make a note real quick.
Can you see my screen now?
It's still spinning for me. It's not coming through yet. Okay, I'm going to make a note in the education work group. All right. Okay, yeah, I just keep getting this spinning.
And I'm gonna quit it. I sent a screenshot from in the watercolor chat.
That might work. Okay, and you are actually in the browser. So this is an interesting thing, and we should actually in Education Guild check this out a little bit. There may be a difference between the web app and the desktop app. And I really do apologize if there's anybody that predominantly uses their phone for Discord. But I made a note in the Education Guild, in the Education Work Group, that, we should come back and check the differences between Discord in the web app and Discord in this standalone app. That, yeah. So we can come back to this and check it out. We definitely should check it out, but I don't want, I want to get kind of onto the other things. We'll talk more about bots. So as I keep talking about bots, please try them in the web app, and we'll see if it continues to be like an issue that's like unique to people using the web app. Is that cool with everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Thanks for pointing that out to us, though. And so the question, the big question is like, how and where do I find information? That's the main thing that folks want to know, and that folks need to know. And so in Discord, one of the things to realize is that categories expand and contract. So for Discord categories that you don't pay attention to, you can always keep these collapsed, and it'll help keep your Discord channels, and categories, much cleaner, because you'll only see kind of the categories that you use most frequently. My favorite channel, this is up top, is the No Stupid Questions channel. And so at any time in your journey in the DAO, if you ever have a question and you don't know where you should ask it, you can always ask in the No Stupid Questions channel, and they're usually pretty quick to respond. You'll notice that some channels light up, and some channels have like red notification circles to the right. And so if you're using a channel and monitoring a channel and it has messages that you haven't seen, they will bold white to let you know that there's messages that you haven't seen. Likewise, if you have a role tag and your role tag gets mentioned in somebody's post, it will show you notifications for that channel when your role was mentioned. Again, and the basic pattern to the categories themselves, so they expand, they contract, they let you know when messages are there that you haven't seen. And then we have, a lot of the categories, especially in the bottom half of the Discord, and media nodes, usually at least have that basic pattern of start here, find information here, and ask questions here, or chat about stuff here. The social channels in the top of the Discord, don't always have that structure. But so Discord is basically how we communicate and how we share information. Notion is the where we store most of the information. And we have a main Bankless DAO wiki, and there is a bot integration with Notion. in the wiki, essentially if you want to find information out about a guild, you go to the wiki, you find the guild, or done in Discord. But the main thing is that you can find a Notion homepage for a guild directly in whatever channel you're in the Discord. You can see that, the way that most bots work is that you kind of start typing in, the function that you need, and then it will pop up a list of, usually options to continue to fill out your query for the bot. So when you type in Notion space homepage, it should pop up a list of guilds. You select the guild, the Education Guild, and then hit enter. And it should give you let's try it real quick. Should give you the Education Guild page. Boom. So if we do that, hit it, hit enter, then Mad Hatter will send you a link, in the channel that you posted the request in to get to the guild Notion page that you want. Can anybody confirm that this works in the web app? It'd be nice to know, Salty Pickle, if this the Notion page function works. Let's see. Here we go. Bam. Very good. All right, so we know that some bots work in the web app the same way. Good, good. Usually like guild pages I use so frequently, I can just start typing, the URL in my browser and it'll pop up. But we want to make it easy for folks, good job, Lie, to, get to the guilds, because that, the guild pages are, where most of the stuff happens. Awesome. So again, I want to kind of move quickly through some of this stuff because I think most people know, you should have, is there anybody, yeah, everybody, I think even just to be here has had to do this, but essentially, right, one of the first things we ask people to do in Discord is get their first, or second couple roles. And in the general Discord category, the first channel is role select. And at any time, you can go to the role select channel and you can select the emojis that are associated with different projects and guilds. And you can get the roles for those projects and guilds. Likewise, if you decide, you're not going to be in a particular guild for a season and you don't want all the extra messages and the chatter that's going on in that guild, you can come back to this role select channel and remove or add roles to your profile. And so if you want to remove a role, when you go to the role select, it should, show you what things you've selected, and then you essentially just deselect that emoji and it'll remove the role for you. And so if you're someone who maybe feels overwhelmed with the amount of messages and alerts that you get in Notion, sometimes all you have to do is remove the role tag from your profile, and it will, remove those notifications that you keep getting in those channels. But for most categories, for most voice channels, like guild channels and some project channels. If you want notifications about that guild or that project, or if you want to be able to interact with the voice channel, often you need the role for that guild or project to do so. And is there anybody who hasn't selected any roles from the role select page?
I didn't.
All right. I knew there was somebody. Yeah. So this would be essentially your next step within
Yeah.
the Discord, and this will open up. It may open up some categories. It'll at least make some categories bigger, because I think every category you can see the kind of like start here and general chatter. But once you've selected the role for a particular project or guild, it may open additional channels in that category. And
But I first need to find the category with the role, right?
Yep. And
or is it a general one?
Yeah, if you just go up from the water cooler,
Mm-hmm.
so role select is the first channel in this category, in the general category. And I can drop a quick link to it in the water cooler chats.
Here it is. I found it. Role select.
Yeah. Yep. And so we used to also have a section of roles associated with countries or languages. Um, but one of the things that happen is, so Discord limits the amount of channels that you have in your Discord. And I can't remember if it's like 100 or 500 channels, but essentially, as of like January, the first 6 months of the DAO or 8 months of the DAO, we hit our Discord channel limit 3 times. Because literally every time there was a discussion about something, you would create a channel so that you could have this discussion in public. So we used to have channels for, the majority of the countries and languages that members were in the DAO. However, we found that most people didn't, and so at the bottom, way bottom of the Discord, you have some geographies channels. And I'll create like a quick little hot link, but you have geographies start here. And like I said, we used to have like 50 channels for each country and region, and we eventually just had to like reduce the amount of channels. Most people don't organize by geographic region, but a lot of folks do organize by language. And so the geography section is a good place for folks who do want to organize by geographic region. Some groups are more active than others, and they generally tend to be social channels, not work channels. But what generally happens is, once there's enough people in a particular geography, especially if it's another language, they're usually getting involved in the Translators Guild. and then kind of organizing into the international media nodes. And I can definitely get more into the geographies a little bit later. I do want to try to be mindful of our time. So the main important channels that you definitely want to keep track of is only 3 channels. But they're the main channels, and they are, towards the top of the Discord. The very first, the most important channel is the announcements channel in the welcome part of the Discord, very top of the Discord. In the announcements channel, there are always any announcement that every single DAO member has to be aware of will be in the announcements channel. There are, oftentimes information about NFTs or different collaborations that the DAO is involved with in the announcements channel. Anytime there's a DAO-wide coordinate, it'll be in the announcements channel. So the announcements channel is, really something that I would recommend folks, like every 3 or 4 days, you want to check the announcements channel. The Learning Opportunities channel is a great place for new members to kind of try to stay informed about the different how-tos and knowledge sessions in the DAO. So I consider that one to be, pretty important for, new people, although you won't like miss anything by not watching that channel. But there is, a lot of opportunities, just to learn in that channel. And then the third channel is the calendar channel. If you're getting all the announcements, if you're checking the calendar, you basically won't miss anything that's happening. Everything that, like 95% of the projects and guilds have events that are, if you see it in the calendar, it's an event that you can attend. Very few events are gated or restricted. It's a lot of events are gated based on, like, you just got to be a part of that guild to attend the weekly sync. But so in the calendar, if you can see an event, you have access to it. If you see an event in the calendar, every event usually starts with like a new member introduction. So just about all the events, there should be a welcoming experience. Some events in the calendar are work events. So you do want to be mindful sometimes when you go into events, if it is a work event, that there might already be an agenda of things to do. But most all the meetings in the DAO are posted to the calendar and made public for everybody. So announcements and the calendar channel will make sure that you're not missing information and that you're able to, find the groups that are self-organizing within the DAO. And essentially all you have to do is find, events that are at time zones that are good for you. And again, the calendar is managed by the Seshbot. We have a workshop on the Seshbot, but basically our Seshbot allows us to track all of our events and run polls. You'll notice on the calendar that it will post like a 3-day list of events. And it posts these event times in UTC. So if you click on the little clock that's at the bottom left of each like calendar list in the calendar channel, then Seshbot will DM you a calendar, a weekly calendar of all the events. So in the calendar channel, you're only going to see like the next 3 days of events. Once you have the Seshbot DM you the calendar, you actually see a whole week's list of events. And through your DMs, you can set your time zone with Seshbot. So it'll actually give you the list of events in your own time zone. Another important thing to note is that there's 2 ways to set up an event. You can set up events in Discord, but then it makes your event, you can only describe your event so much by using the bot in Discord. There is a web app where people can, set up and schedule events, and then this allows people to be much more descriptive in their event. But essentially, wherever the event is posted is where that event is being taken place. Some people that create their events with the Sesh bot in Discord don't always have, the information on like where the event is. And part of that is just people writing really bad descriptions of their events. But if you click on an event, it should take you to the channel where the event was posted. And if it was posted in the Treasury Guild, then the meeting is probably going to happen in the Treasury Guild. The other thing you can do, if you go to an event and you can't quite tell where it's being held, you can just DM the person that created the event, or tag them in some channel and ask them like where the event is. So I do apologize for anybody that tries to go events and can't quite figure out where that event is being posted. But in general, feel free to ask. Look at the people, see if you know anybody that's attending that event. And lots of events have different RSVP options. And so I also encourage people that create events to create multiple types of RSVP options. But because of the way Discord works, there are some cool things you can do when people RSVP to events. In a couple guilds, when people RSVP to events, we actually assign an active member role because they're letting us know, whether or not they can attend an event. And then, of course, the Seshbot calendar can be integrated with your Google calendars as well. And even within Seshbot, you can set up things like reminders and alarms that send you messages before meetings start. And during the Seshbot how-to session is when we generally go over all those settings. All right. So this is the last slide. But I do want to go over these things real quick, and then we can get into any questions. But kind of like, I want to give some tips for like etiquette, I guess is the best way to describe it in Discord. So you'll notice that channels have descriptions. Okay, not every channel has good descriptions, but, and this is mainly because I think L2s are the only ones who can edit the descriptions in channels. But if you are, if you see a channel, it's accessible to you. if you want to find out what that channel is about, first thing you should do is check its description and then check its pinned messages. And I'll get to pinned messages in a second, but channels do have descriptions. Descriptions are super helpful. You know, if you're using a channel and you check the descriptions and the description isn't there, doesn't make any sense, you know, this is actually an opportunity to improve the Discord experience and try to get an accurate description of that channel. You know, let a L2 know, or let the people in that group know. But all channels should have a very clear description about, you know, kind of the purpose of that channel. Replies in Discord. When you have reply to somebody's post, generally, if there's several replies to the same post, we turn that into a thread. If it's a discussion that's going to persist. Threads, is there anybody that's not familiar with threads? Because threads are a little tricky if you're not aware of them. And I'll go into them briefly. But essentially, threads are sub-channels within a channel. And it allows you, you know, if you just had the one Discord channel, you know, not every Discord has integrated threads. So if you're in other Discords, you may notice that they don't have threads. But you'll notice one of the things that happens in Discord is that somebody creates a post and somebody replies to that reply. Some chatter posts happen in between, and then there's another reply to the old post. And it can be really tricky to follow the discussion, you know, just by following the reply chain. So usually we tell folks that, you know, if there's a couple replies or a few replies and it looks like it's going to continue to be a discussion, that we create a thread to show that discussion. Now, I said, oh, they disappear on you, is what I'm saying. You always want to kind of know, like, where that thread is so that you can find it later. So a lot of discussions happen on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. And so those threads will generally disappear and then reappear the next time somebody posts in that thread. And for folks that don't know, in any channel, you can go to like the top right of that channel and you can, I'll drop a screenshot of this. But you're looking for this little pound symbol in the top right hand of your Discord. And these threads are either active, which means, you know, that there's been somebody that's posted in them in the last couple days, or they're archived. And any archived thread can come back into existence, you know, just by typing in that channel. Most threads auto archive after 3 days. So you do want to, you know, especially the general chats and guilds and stuff, you know, it's very helpful to just every now and then just look at all the threads that are going on within a particular channel in the Discord. So reacting, I love emojis in Discord. I like to say emojis speak louder than words sometimes, but one of the ways to reduce some of the chatter that goes into the Discord is by using emojis, instead of writing out, kind of chit-chatty comments. Or, using stickers and memes. But emojis in Discord can lead to other actions. So, like when you are in role select and you pick up a role tag, we can actually do things and assign permissions in Discord based on how people react to posts. Another common function of emojis is that they can be used to create emoji polls. And so a great way to get a temp check or to get consensus about work that you're doing in a group is to just create an emoji poll. And an emoji poll, you basically, have your question or something. And I'm writing out an example of this in the chat. And I will write it in the other chat as well. But essentially, in your emoji polls, you have a question or a statement, and then you have your poll options. Now, what you want to do as somebody who creates an emoji poll is actually you exclude yourself from voting in an emoji poll because not everybody has the same access to emojis. So when you create an emoji poll, you also have to add the reaction to the poll so that people that may not have access to that emoji can select it. So emoji polls are, I believe, an underutilized feature, but it's great for just keeping, checking in with folks and getting their feedback on different ideas. Just remember that, in this emoji poll, I had to basically vote for both emojis. So you just got to take that into consideration when you report on your emoji poll, that you may have, that you got to vote for every choice, unless you come back and remove your vote. All right, tagging users. I recommend folks to tag users before tagging roles. And the way you tag or mention people in Discord is very similar to how mentioning works in lots of Web 2 applications. You can see that if you type @ symbol and you start typing somebody's name, that they will, you'll start getting a list of people's names with, whatever you started typing. So I, type @king, and I get a list of like 4 or 5 folks, 3 folks with their king in their name. Always ask if you need to tag a role. when you tag a role, it will look a little different than mentioning a name. It'll usually be colored. But when you mention a role, it'll tag everybody on that role. And so like in Research Guild, I'm always telling people, like, we have an announcements channel, right? So that announcements channel, everybody's supposed to check. So we actually, in the guild, never need to tag anybody with the Research Guild tag or the Beakers role tag when we're posting an announcement, because that announcement is already for everybody with the role tag. Now, if we have a logo contest and we want to mention the Design Guild in our logo contest when we announce the winner, that's when we tag the Design Guild in the Research Guild announcements, because they're not part of the guild. Nobody in Design Guild should be coming to check the Research Guild announcements on a regular basis unless they're also Research Guild members, right? So when we want to mention other guilds or other roles in the Research Guild, this is when we mention, that other role. There's always people complaining there's not good enough communication, and then there's always people complaining that there's too much education. It's just part of the space that we find ourselves in and always trying to figure out. But it's always worth asking yourself, do you need to mention the whole role? Or can you just, tag individual people? So it's just something to be mindful of. Threads, I went over threads. Pinned posts. Pinned posts. So this is another thing where only level 2s can pin posts. The reason why only level 2s can pin posts is because by having the ability to pin posts, you also have the ability, this is just part of Discord, to delete posts, right? And we don't want, I would love every guest passer to be able to pin messages, I don't know if I'm comfortable with every guest passer being able to delete messages, right? So there's a slight problem in the DAO, because the first place you should go to find information on a project or a channel is its pinned messages, right? In every DM that I have with somebody, if they share their email, their Notion email with me, if they share their public wallet address with me, I pin these things in that DM with that person, so that in the future I can go back and be like, okay, I need to add this person to this Notion page, or I need, this person's wallet for something, to send them some tokens. And so pinned messages, again, are underutilized a little bit because L2s have to be the ones to maintain them. But if the pinned messages are the first place you should go for every channel to find out, what you need to find out. If they don't have pinned messages, that they probably need some help in that work group. So highly recommend folks to check out pinned messages. If you're a L2, please help us keep relevant pinned messages pinned in channels. And if you're a guest passer and you're like, hey, this is important information, all you have to do is tag a L2 and ask them to pin a message. So this is, in Bankless Africa several months ago, there were like, no L2s, as soon as Think Decade became an L2, you know, I started tagging them all the time. Just like, hey, can you pin this post? Can you pin this post? Can you pin this post? And so having updated, clear, good pinned messages in every channel helps that channel to be a little bit more organized. There are voice channels associated with most categories. These voice channels are there for people to use and collaborate in. Um, one of the recent changes to voice channels is that now by default, every voice channel has its own chat. Its own chat channel. So you'll notice that, and this doesn't show up very well. But essentially, just to the right of the voice chat, if you bring your cursor, you should see a little chat bubble. And so, yeah, sorry this is running a little late. This is the last few things, though. I appreciate you for being here. um, you notice that the water cooler, right? We used to have our own, you know, voice channel in addition to the lab channel. A lot of categories had these kind of like two channels that are associated with each other. But now largely that second, you know, separate voice channel text chat just isn't needed anymore. We still have it for the water cooler, and it's a little confusing. So the water cooler chat may disappear someday. But folks should know that usually when we're having meetings anywhere in the DAO, that the discussions that go on in that meeting, you know, a lot of times there's these text conversations that go on at the same time because folks don't always have access to good audio. Thank you. Just about ready to wrap it up. Forum features. So Discord now has forums associated with categories. Currently, the DAO has not integrated the forums into Discord. We generally use Discourse to have our forum discussions. But the DAO is looking to see if and considering the integration of adding forum features to Discord. So that's something to look out for. Server DMs. It is not mandatory for people to have their DMs open. It doesn't restrict your access or ability to work in the Discord in any way, but a lot of people do have their Discords, their DMs open, you know, to just get DMs and to kind of help people. But it's not mandatory. So just because, and there's actually, you know, kind of a culture of not working in DMs and trying to work in public. That being said, you can have up to 10 people in one DM. So a lot of times if you are just working in a small group, you know, on relatively simple tasks, sometimes it's much easier to spin up a DM group and have that small group of people working in the DM group. Some people answer their DMs first when they get into Discord. Some people answer their DMs last. So like I'm one of those people that generally put the priority of what I respond to based on people tagging me in the Discord channels. I usually only get to my DMs once or a couple times a week. And when I'm off grid, I usually just don't have the extra power to check my DMs. So that's something to be aware of, is that people within the DAO use the DMs differently. In general, we always want to build in public, but every situation is unique. And it's just be aware that if you're working with people in DMs, that you don't have to. If it makes you feel uncomfortable, you can always request, that work not be done in DMs. Spam. You'll notice if you are somebody that opens your DMs, you get tons of spam from different organizations. If it looks too good to be true, if it's some type of opportunity or something that's DM'd to you, I generally just delete it. I don't read it. I don't check it out. Unless you know who's DMing you, don't follow links in your DMs from people that you don't know. One thing that you can do to reduce your DMs is, your spam DMs, is to set your status in Discord as invisible. Because what the bots usually do that are sending out the spam is they'll come into a Discord, they'll look at the members who are online or visible in that Discord, and then they'll send all those people a DM. So if you set your status as invisible, right, people that know you, people that aren't trying to send you spam, will still be able to like DM you and converse with you, and you can still be in the voice channels and stuff, but your status isn't public or accessible to bots who can send you spam. And sometimes it's not a bot. Sometimes, it's actual people who go into Discords and just, DM everybody that's online or has their status as active in that Discord. So changing your status to invisible is something that has helped folks in the past. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch upon, again, this is also in the How to Collab how-to session, but tipping is one of the functions that we use bots for in the Discord. Most channels you should be able, not threads, but most channels you should be able to tip other members. And this is a great way to just share the tipping culture, but also it's pretty good to learn about, because there's more than one tip bot. Any tip bot, any Discord with the collab.land bot means that in that Discord you can tip the bank token, right? So you don't have to be in the BanklessDAO Discord to actually tip and send people in other Discords bank. There's a whole list for, depending on the bot, there's a tip.cc bot and there's the collab.land bot. Both of these bots basically have a list of tokens that are usable with their bot, and in any Discord you can tip any of these tokens that are on their list. So that's always interesting to know and interesting to utilize. And so people may see, usually we tip with the bank token, but you may see other people tipping with things other than the bank token, or tipping other people in other Discords with the bank token as well. The tip bot is its own second layer. It's not a decentralized, highly secure, censorship resistant L2, you know. It is very much their own like private company and L2. So, you know, we don't keep millions of bank in these bots, but it's really safe for, you know, small amounts. And, you know, I don't know of anybody losing their funds from the tip bot. And I'm done. And we're over an hour. Definitely got to figure out how to shorten this demo, this workshop. But there's a lot of little subtleties to Discord to learn and get used to. And yeah, happy to answer folks' questions at this time. Sorry to take so long.
It was super great. Thank you.
All right. And, you know, if just so folks are always aware of this, on the main DAO wiki, we have a page called how-to guides. And, you know, as we write articles about how to do things in BanklessDAO, this is where we post this information. So there's lots of well-written tutorials on how to use the different aspects of Discord in these how-to guides.
Great, thanks.
Great session, Ernest.
Oh, thanks. Man, I feel like it's a lot for one session, but I think it's like all the basic stuff people need to know. Um, if we have a feedback form for this, it would be nice to know, you know, um, ultimately, I think there should be like a level 1 Discord and a level 2 Discord course, so that we kind of
Yeah, I
know,
think so too.
right? Like if you've already been through First Quest, if you've done Role Select, you know, there's a lot of stuff in here that, you know, probably 80% of it, you know, everybody already knew, but it's kind of important to go over, just to make sure that everybody knows all the things in this course. But there's lots to learn about Discord, about administrating Discord. Um, there's still more features in Discord. And so there's definitely what I call like a power user level, for Discord, especially for folks who are active in multiple Discords. There's some interesting things you can do with announcements channels. Um, Different Discords have like Twitter bots. You know, you can integrate Twitter. Um, you can, yeah, integrate lots of things outside of Discord with Discord, which is another reason why some groups have their own additional Discord in addition to the BanklessDAO Discord, is so that they can, you know, manage their own bots, manage their own permissions. Well,
Ernest, one question: where can I see my status as an example? I mean, it's clear I'm a guest, but for myself, where the heck do I see that?
yeah, well, I'll change screens here. So at the top of the Discord, you have this little caret next to BanklessDAO, and as a guest passer, you might not see all this very well. If you're just wanting to look at yourself, you should be able to click the user settings next to your profile, and
yeah,
you should be able to start, seeing the options that you have to see your own profile. It used to be when I click on people's name in chat, their profile pops up and it shows all the roles that that person has. So, and I think this even works with the voice channel. So if I click on your name in the voice channel, I can see, right? You got the Bankless Academy project, Bankless Consulting you've added, the International
yes,
Business.
yes.
Yeah. And so this is one of the things too that I check when when we're doing the check-ins. This is for people who are interested in teaching courses and stuff with Education Guild. I like having the check-in at the beginning of the workshop because it helps me see, like, who has good audio, who maybe is just listening and driving. It also gives me a little bit of time where I can check their profile as people are given their check-in. And so, one of the things that I noticed off the bat when I was checking people's profile is, like, this is how I knew, like, you were a brand new member, right? Even though,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so this is kind of, when you become a L1 and L2, you get this server settings option, and this actually lets you go into the individual roles. And as a L2, I can actually, most roles I can manage. I can give people guest passes, um, remove guest passes, guild tags, whatever I need to do to be able to help that member. But we have 226 roles in Discord. That's a lot. And
No, all good. No, it's fine.
yeah.
And the other question, there's an echo at the moment. The other question is, so for instance, you tip or donate to somebody's wallet. How would that work?
So,
only with the bots, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tag you in the chat associated with the voice channel here, and let's see if I can tip you. Tip.
Because I verified my wallet, but I don't have banks.
Yep. So you'll notice if I type in /tip, I get a series of bot options. Because we have bank on ETH and Polygon, most people will have the ETH network, like their collab. If they've received tips previously, it's been on the ETH network, not on Polygon. But basically, I just play fill in the blank. I'm going to, on the ETH mainnet, send you 100 bank tokens, and when you put somebody's name as a recipient, you use the @ symbol. And then collab starts thinking. After I hit enter, it'll let you know if you typed things in wrong. And here shortly,
it's too long thinking.
It is. It's taking this is thinking really hard. Bam, there it goes.
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
Th-
it's important to realize, so this won't show up in your MetaMask, right? So the tip bot,
yeah, I have Coinbase. Doesn't-
well, the tip bot is its own L2. So
Mhm.
I'm not sending wallet to your MetaMask or to your Coinbase account. I'm sending it to a wallet that collab.land manages for you.
All
When
right.
you move, if you want to move the bank that's in your tipping account, to your wallet, it's a transaction. And if it's on Polygon, obviously it's going to be pennies. If it's on the ETH mainnet, you're going to have that. Right now it's pretty cheap, but like 7 months ago, it would have cost you $80.
It depends on the gas price, clear.
Yeah. So I definitely think we'll start seeing folks move to Polygon on the collab.land bot. And it's kind of confusing because we like the tip bot because it makes tipping visible and we want to promote the tipping culture. But on an administrative end, it actually takes some effort, constantly moving funds to the collab.land bot.
So we need actually in wallets with L1 and L2s.
Yeah, so like in Research Guild, we're trying to have these Member of the Month awards, and essentially at the beginning of each season, we'll move, 9,000 bank to collab, and we'll be able to tip people that get the Member of the Month award, you know, with the collab.land bot. But it's actually easier just to tip people on Polygon using MetaMask. But then your tipping isn't visible, right? It doesn't automatically like post that you sent somebody a 100 bank tip using Polygon. So the tip bots are cool. We like using them. They're a great way for people to start learning, and getting the bank token. Um, but it is kind of messy moving the tokens on and off the bot. The collab.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, collab.landbot also has some development going on, and so they were I think it was DevCon, or I'm not sure what conference it was, but they just recently were part of a pretty big conference and have a lot of exciting updates coming. um,
Good stuff. Thanks.
cool. Any other questions? I will hang around for a few more minutes. We have an education work group call starting in a half hour, 20 minutes. If there's no more questions, we'll drop in the Education Guild um, a link to a feedback form for this event. I also can probably come back within the hour and drop a link to the feedback form in the water cooler chat here. I've also posted a link to the YouTube channel. And so in the description, you'll have links to the Notion event, and I'll add the feedback form and all that jazz. I'll just repost this link again. And if folks want to stay up to date on the workshops as we get them added to the calendar, I've also posted a link to the live session calendar in Education Guild, and the How to Discord workshop basically event information and cheat sheet will be on this Notion page. We've been working on governance stuff, so I think some of our our updating is I need to catch up on. But thanks everybody for showing up and asking questions and sticking around so long.
Thanks. Very helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
And see you around.